Howdy, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Debauchery Circus campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM, and joining me around the virtual table today are Brandie, Brie, John, just Junior, and Steven. Sorry, John's not here today, so Brandie, Brie, Junior, and Steven. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Howdy.
Now, before we begin, I want to remind everyone that this Wednesday, June 15th at 7 p.m. Central, we are continuing our playthrough of Maginites, An Echo from the Stars. If you like anime tropes, or just enjoy stories about magical high schoolers facing off against eldritch horrors, then you should come check it out. Episode 1 is already on YouTube, on our channel, so if you haven't seen it, you should check that out too. It was a lot of fun. Now you can keep up to date on everything we do by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV and on Twitter as @random_Rhapsody. Okay, that should do it for the announcements. So join us as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Debauchery Circus. And we're back. So when we last left off, the Debauchery Circus had spent the night in Coltrast while they finalized their preparations for the trip to Rowena. Ichabod made good on his promise to Edmund to take him out fishing on the lake, while Corin met with Archdruid Grigg, who had traveled to Coltrast to check in on the elven wizard he had recently resurrected. The two discussed the strange route and forest underneath Coltrast Keep, and Corin entreated the Archdruid to examine them and tried to decipher their true nature. The druid also offered to transport the party and their warhorses to a forest near the edge of Radagast's southeastern border. Once the squad's preparations were complete, they accepted the druid's kind offer, and before they knew it, they found themselves transported via plants into a dark forest far to the south of Florida, a city they had been to once. There the party attempted to traverse dense foliage until night began to fall, and unfortunately, while the team made their camp, the campfire managed to attract a group of trolls who made the forest their home. The monstrous creatures almost managed to sneak up on the camp, but fortunately for them, the ever-alert Corin and Blaznir caught sight of the trolls before they could attack. The battle against the trolls was vicious, and Blaznir went unconscious several times due to the trolls' savage ferocity. But in the end, the team emerged victorious against their abominable foes, and although, Ichabod's tent was destroyed, they did eventually manage to get a good night's sleep. And so, Debauchery Circus. The next day, you made your way out of the forest and across the plains to the river, which is the natural border that lies between the Kingdom of Radagast and the Margarden Federation. It was a daunting obstacle for some, but not for Blaznir, who made like Charlton Heston and parted the waters with his magic. And you are all very easily able to get across. But as an entirely new part of the continent lay before you, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, what is your opinion about the Church of the Five? Do you view it as beneficial? Do you view it as harmful? Could you not care less about religion? How do you feel about the national organized religion on the continent of Loroupa? And since Ichabod, you're the one who rolled, why don't you go ahead and go first?
I mean, obviously, I hold it in very high regard. Though there are some differences in this country with what they teach versus my country. I would say it is a source of morality that the world would be better off if more people followed.
Interesting. I like it. Kaya, how about you?
Kaya's not particularly religious, so to speak. So, while, religion's not necessarily for her, I mean, so long as they're not doing evil shit, hurting people, she doesn't really care much. So yeah, she leaves her opinions until they, give her a reason not to trust them, basically.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. Blaznir, how about you?
I don't think Blaznir necessarily minds them. They definitely helped out quite a bit during the contrast thing. So he just probably doesn't really care for all the zealotry in it, though. And yeah,
that's fair.
that's it.
Okay, I like it. Corin, how about you?
All right, first of all, what you call savage ferocity, I call not listening to the wizard when he says burn the bodies. As for the Church of the Five, Corin generally believes that if you need to be afraid of some giant man in the sky in order to do what's right and good, you're probably not a good person.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Well, Debauchery Circus. Yeah, you've been traveling for a couple days now since you have arrived in the Federation. The further south you've traveled, the terrain has become more and more rocky, and the plant life has definitely decreased the longer your group has progressed. Those first few nights traveling, you didn't see a whole lot of wildlife or things of that nature. Actually, it's been fairly quiet the farther south you go. But it's been about your third day out since you've arrived in the Federation, and that rocky soil is quickly becoming much, much more fine and gritty. Anesthetic saying, "I love you, Ichabod, fangirl."
Why am I getting a fan club? What's happening?
I don't know. But, with that gritty sand that you're now starting to traverse through, your horses, being from a much more temperate climate than this, are obviously laboring to keep a steady pace as you all urge them forward. So, to start things off today, I want everybody to make for me animal handling checks, just to see how well you've been traveling the last few days. So everyone go ahead and give me an animal handling check, please.
Sure. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
One thing that I am going to do, put like a piece of cloth or something on my horse.
Okay.
And then like every so often I can cast prestidigitation because I can use it to chill or cool down non-living material. Just try and help keep my horse more amenable.
Sure, absolutely.
Because I can't handle my horse for shit.
Right.
Because I rolled a 6 total on animal handling.
Whew.
Better
Yes.
than me.
I imagine I'm exempt from the animal handling.
Well, yeah,
It's
you
not
are.
an animal.
It's not really an animal, so instead I just need really a survival check from you.
11.
Okay. So, Anesthetic's saying that Corin gets her inspiration for today. Anesthetic
Yay.
is our Patreon member who looks after us, so she gets to give inspiration once per day. And Corin, you got it.
Thank you.
Well, you
So-
got something.
So let's see. Kaya rolled a nat 1 for a 2. Ouch. Blaznir doing pretty good with that 21 animal handling check. Corin not doing great either with that 6. And Ichabod, that 11 on survival. Like your horse isn't having, like, it obeys you, but it's more the going through the sand, dealing with a terrain that they're not used to. Now, your horse is a little bit better than the rest of them because it's a fake creature. It's not a actual horse, but still dealing with that terrain. All 5 of you going together, has been going well. Actually, I forgot to do Willow, so let me do Willow real quick.
Come on, Willow, get a really high and bring up our collective check. Nope.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
You guys doing
that's pretty well a failure all across the board. It is hot. It is sandy. It is very much a difficult terrain that you guys are dealing with. The sun is beating down on you. It's uncomfortable as hell.
Yeah, Blaznir. You got any of that bardic inspiration?
Oh, I do. I don't think I can give it out after the roll, though.
No, you really can't. But with all of those rolls, those first few days, it's been difficult traveling. You're all fairly worn out every day as you sit down and make up camp. You're definitely drinking a lot of water. You have a lot of water, fortunately, so it's not like you're having a bad time as far as dehydration, but you're really, really just... It's slow going, it's hot, it's uncomfortable. Even if you're not wearing your armor, like Willow, she definitely casts off her armor and is just wearing her robe. Ichabod, you said you got padded armor.
I got studded leather.
Studded leather armor. So you're wearing that instead of your plate. So that's helped out a bit. You have your cloaks on. You're using your prestidigitation to try to keep your horse cool, Corin. But overall, like, all of you are just having a rough time of this traveling.
I'd like to suggest that we quit traveling during the day and start sleeping during the day and traveling at night.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Okay. So from here on out, your group is really planning on traveling at night. Is that what I'm
Yes.
getting? Okay.
Where I'll wear my plate armor overnight while it's cool, and then I'll switch and while we sleep uncomfortably in some leather armor.
Yeah, absolutely. But okay. So it is the middle of the day at this point. It's all going pretty slow. So your group decides to bed down, rest for a little bit, for a few hours, wait till the sun starts to go down, and then travel as much as you can until you're all tired. Is that pretty much what you want to do?
Basically.
Okay. So
Within our schedule.
Sure, absolutely. Now, how are you making camp? Are you, like, putting up your tents and hanging out underneath those? Are you, like, just sitting out in the sun until it gets dark? What are you doing?
That would
So
get us burned.
are we in just a desolate, sandy desert, or
Yeah.
is there like rocks, or what?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
17.
Can't she do that with advantage? Because we'd all be looking with her.
Yeah, I feel like if it's just a sea of desert sand, I feel like I'd be able to tell that pretty easy.
Well, you think that, but I don't know if anyone's ever actually been in the desert, but
I'm just saying you can look around and tell whether there's a big rock or not.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Salvatore suddenly looks like a hot dog for some
But go ahead and roll with advantage, so you can roll your perception one more time and see what your biggest number is.
20.
Okay. With a 20, yeah, you are able to find enough of a rocky outcrop that you can kind of get hunkered down in this shade of it. It's not a lot cooler, but it does take a bit of the edge off. So I want all of you to go ahead and give me perception checks. You're just kind of hunkering down, waiting, trying to get some rest. And I also want you all to make Constitution saving throws for me.
Okay. If everybody's near me, they get a +4 to their con save.
Cool. I'm gonna give myself guidance for the perception check.
I got a nat 20 on that perception.
All right, so I'm gonna use my inspiration to re-roll that con save.
Ooh.
All right, so that's yeah,
18.
that's a 22 for my familiar's perception, a 23 for my perception, and a 14 on my con save.
And you get a +4.
Oh, okay,
So
18 on my con save then.
Okay. Well, having Ichabod there next to you, bolstering you all up, definitely helped things out. I imagine you kind of pulled out some of your water skins, passed them around, started having drinks and rehydrating as you're sitting in the shade and trying to keep your horses in the shade as much as possible, too. Now, like I said, it's not a huge outcrop, but it's taking the edge off a bit. Let's see. Ichabod, what did you get for your perception and your
nat 20?
Nat 20 on perception and
a 26 on my con.
Okay, then yeah, you're fine. Did anyone roll under a 16 for your con saves?
I did.
You did, even with her
I
+4.
rolled it. Yeah, I rolled 11.
Okay.
I did as well.
Okay. So the two of you, unfortunately, like. The sun is definitely taking its toll. You've spent the day traveling in the sun. You're getting fairly worn down. And as you're sitting there resting, it's not doing as much for you as it is for everyone else. So each of you have a point of exhaustion for the rest of the day.
Blaznir.
Yes. What?
Could you not just turn into something more suited for the heat?
That's what I was about to ask the DM god, whatever he is. Yeah, can I turn into something something desert based, like a scorpion or something to help me out? Or camel?
Be a camel.
I mean, you can turn into a camel if you want to,
but maybe not right now. Well,
Well, I was thinking, while I was sleeping, so I don't have to deal with exhaustion points.
Oh, okay.
I mean, no matter what form you are, if you're laboring under the sun and you're going for long periods of time, the environment's still going to take its toll. There's nothing that you can change into that's going to negate.
So desert animals have to walk around with exhaustion all day?
I mean, depends on the animal. Like, most animals aren't really active during the daytime. They're mostly active at night. The animals that are active during the day are the kinds that, burrow down into the sand and hide underneath there. If you take just, a snake and send it out into the desert, eventually, yes, it's going to become exhausted, too. You just keep track of it. Just keep track in your mind that you have 1 exhaustion points. Right now, what 1 exhaustion point mean is that you roll your skills at disadvantage. Now, just keep in mind, though, Blaznir, that transforming into an animal to go to sleep isn't going to give you any benefits in the desert, really. Just going to sleep takes a point of exhaustion away.
I thought we were resting, and then the heat of the sun with making us not be able to really rest as much.
No, the con saving throw was really just the buildup of traveling for a while.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the rest itself. This was just seeing where you were at for your travels. But you are able to take your short rest and wait a few hours. So if anyone needs to do hit dice or anything like that, you can. But over the course of the few hours, the sun is slowly starting to set. It gets cooler probably around like 6 o'clock or so in the evening, judging by the low point of the sun. And so you start feeling more confident and willing to head out once again about that point. You're all hydrated, you're all rested. If you're going to be traveling throughout the rest of the night, you can do so for probably another 6 hours or so. And then you're just going to get tired. So you're going to have to find a way to camp at that point and, deal with all that. But you can rest until the next low light, and you'll have much more travel time tomorrow. Does that make sense?
That's the plan.
Okay. So what I'd like everyone to do, once again, is now that it's dark, your DC is definitely lower for your travel. I need everyone to make another animal handling check and another survival check.
Another
I'm
11 for my survival.
Gonna give myself guidance again.
And on this night, I'd like to dismiss Salvatore and then use my scroll to summon him again as a camel.
As a camel? Okay.
Yes.
I'm also going to give Willow Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
Because she's not good at wisdom.
10 on animal handling, 11 on survival.
And this is at disadvantage?
Yeah, this is a disadvantage for the two of you.
Better than before, at least.
What's your what
It's
is
a
your
D6.
D6? Thank you. Okay, so she got a 13 and a 10. 13 animal handling, 10 survival. Like I said, luckily your DC is quite a bit lower now that you're traveling at night. It's still a bit of a challenge, but let's see here. Blaznir, what did you get for your rolls?
19, or no, not 19, 23 for animal handling, that, and 9 for survival.
Okay. Corin?
I got a 10 on animal handling and an 11 on survival.
Okay. Ichabod?
Non-survival.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
11 on survival.
11 on survival. And Kaya?
12 for animal handling, 10 for survival.
So, still not the best spread in the world. You are definitely able to make your rest of the day, but you are all like getting to the point where by the end of the 6 hours that you're traveling, you're all very, very worn out. It's been a long, hard day. You're all sweaty. You're all exhausted. Your horses have been not behaving the best, other than Salvatore, because Salvatore, is a fake creature. But the rest of the horses, they're definitely like agitated, worn out. The heat's gotten to them quite a bit, and you're going to have to give them quite a bit of water to really hydrate them back up for the next day, evening's ride. Okay. Now, somebody give me a perception check with advantage.
Sure. 23.
Okay. Corin, looking for a good spot to make camp. What describe for me, like, Imagine you're in the desert. You're traveling at night. You're looking for a place to sleep for the day. What is the ideal spot you would be looking for, Corin?
Let's see. Any kind of like packed ground that we can find that might be a little more comfortable for the horse's feet. Any kind of trees at all to provide any kind of shade or even just something to tie them to. Other than that, obviously water if there's a fresh water source, but we're in the desert, so not likely.
Yeah, you are in the
Oasis.
desert. There is definitely no freshwater sources out here right now. It is nothing but sand and rock as far as the eye can see. You occasionally see, like, maybe a small shrub or plant trying to stay alive, but that's really about it.
Mhm.
You can find a decent rocky outcropping that you figure will at least protect a little bit from from the wind and from the elements, but you don't find a great spot. Hold on. Anesthetic saying my screen went black for the Twitch. I can't hear anybody, or is that just me? But now it's working again. So you're good, Anesthetic. You can hear us, okay? Hopefully. Anyway, yeah. So you go find yourself a rocky outcropping. You hobble up your horses. Blaznir, you're casting create water to help hydrate the horses.
Yep.
Okay, and you can use that to help fill your water. The half kegs you all bought, and fill up your water skins and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Okay. Now, is there any preparations or anything like that you all plan to do for the night, or anything like that?
Try and find a place to tie up the horses so they don't run off.
Okay, make a perception check.
Sure. 23.
23 again. You can find like a bit of root sticking out from the rocky outcropping that you give a few tugs on it, and it seems fairly solid.
Sure.
So you can tie them all up to that.
Cool.
Now, as you're all like setting up your camp, putting out your tents and whatnot, Willow comes up to you, Ichabod.
Well, Cody,
She has a little bit of a package, something wrapped in tarp, and she passes it over to you, and she tells you that she took some things off of the beholder and wanted to make something for you. So she got something crafted for you in North Emia.
that's unexpected from you, Willow, but I do appreciate it. I open it up.
And there you find kind of an impressive-looking whip made of tanned leather that seems fairly stretchy and weird. Like
I pull it out and look at it, and then I go, "It's nice, thank you." Sniffle, and then I stoically look away.
If I see this, I will take an involuntary step back away from it.
Yeah, you definitely were around to see that.
Clearly, I misjudged you, Willow. I see there is some kindness in there. It's more than just blood spatter and the like.
Yeah, I don't know what Willow would have said. Unfortunately, John's not with us, but maybe he'll be able to let us know the next time he's here.
Mm-hmm.
But Willow did make for you a whip out of the beholder pieces that they had harvested and had it crafted in North Emia, and so you now have a pretty impressive whip. Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to do this evening before you all set up for your long rest?
Yeah, study my dictionary.
Okay. Go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Sure enough. 19.
19. It's not too bad. You sit down by the fire probably while everyone's there making dinner or whatnot. It's getting fairly early in the morning, and you're all pretty damn exhausted. But yeah, with your 19 intelligence, you're starting to study the Elven dictionary and start learning some of the words in it. And so you can mark that down as one success.
Cool.
I'd just like to pray like I usually do.
Okay. Yeah, your tent's pretty much demolished, so...
So unfortunately, I still will go like some 30 feet away, but unfortunately I have to pray out in the open.
Oh, that's what he does when he prays. That's weird.
I keep it totally normal. Nothing weird about this.
Oh, I'm sure everyone's just staring.
Oh, God.
I'm just kneeling down, put my forehead on the ground, praying.
What are you praying while you're doing that?
Oh, you guys want to overhear my prayer? Roll a perception check, assholes. I pray silently.
25.
All right. Okay, so you hear I'm whispering.
19.
And when Ichabod prays, it's like he's just having a conversation with Bowers. So he's like, "It's me again. I just wanted to apologize and ask forgiveness for all the sins I have committed these past few days of lying and being rageful and spiteful at times. And I just pray that I can see my family again. I can feel they're very close now."
Almost as if they're sitting right nearby you.
Almost as if they're right here. I pray you help me find it in my heart to forgive my wife.
Somewhere out there.
Bowers, I get the sense I'm being listened to, so I'm going to have to leave this till next time we chat.
Yeah, and as you get up, you just look, and everyone's just sitting by the fire staring at you watching.
You got a problem with your eyes?
Yes.
Leave me.
Okay.
I lay in my bed.
Meanwhile, the rest of us are just going, what is the sound of one pimp hand slapping? Because clearly your son is taking care of business right now.
My son, I don't know what y'all are thinking right now. My son is not a pimp. He's just misguided.
A high-level monk.
He better not be. Paladin levels only. Fighter levels are acceptable, but no rogue, no monk.
How about cleric?
Nope. Well,
What's wrong with monks?
we can talk about it. Monks ain't. Y'all are, more. I don't know what to call it. I guess your
Not
spirituality
human.
don't match. Anyway, good night.
I hope he's a warlock.
Better not be a warlock. That's like the worst. The worst option.
Warlock in service to a succubus.
No son of mine is going to be a warlock.
As part of his pact, he has to maintain a stable.
Anyway.
Anyway.
So, who's taking first watch this evening?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. So everyone... Go ahead.
I only have to transfer 4 hours, but I still have to be resting for 8 to get my spells back.
Yeah. So you do still have to rest, but you can use that time to be studying your book, which is what I assume you're going to be doing.
Yeah,
for the most part. So you sit down and spend the first 2 hours reading your book while everyone's trying to get as comfortable as they can in their campsites and in their bedrolls. Now, the darker it gets, the colder it gets. And while the sun is getting to the point where it's going to get up there, it is very cold for those first few hours of your watch, and you have to sit there by the fire. Now,
Did we have blankets for the horses?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do have blankets for the horses and all that. And actually, really what you need to do in the desert is set up some type of shade that you can maintain wherever the sun's going, especially if you're wanting to sleep during the daytime. So I imagine a lot of you have put your tents in a way that provides a little extra shade as close to the rock wall as you can. So hopefully you can get as much undisturbed rest as you can.
I do have a question, though. We're resting during the day, so how is it cold right now?
Well, because you guys,
nighttime.
it's technically still nighttime. Like your group traveled somewhat through the night, but you weren't able to make a full travel.
We haven't swapped over our schedule yet.
Yeah, so you bedded down kind of late to make up for that. But you're still, the first few hours is dawn. You're actually taking more than an 8-hour wait. You're probably going to be there for about 10 hours or so before you start traveling again for the evening. Does that make sense?
Okay, I gotcha.
But for those first couple hours, Corin, go ahead and make your perception check. You're keeping an eye out. You're looking. You're making sure that you're not spotted or anything like that.
That's an 18 and a 20.
Okay. Now, for the most part, those first 2 hours are quiet, but there is something you do manage to spot with your 20. I imagine that at some point for those first couple hours, you felt the need to get up and stretch your legs, and so you're kind of walking around the perimeter of your campsite. And you notice something out there in the distance that catches your attention, because it's interesting. Like, the desert lies before you. Those big waves of sand just kind of cascading back and forth like an ocean. But you see something kicking up dust. And it's moving very slowly. It's not moving fast at all, but it seems like sand is being mounded and burrowed underneath, kicking up quite a bit of sand and dust as it goes. Like I said, it's really far out there. This is when the sun is just starting to come up over the horizon. It's getting to the point where day is beginning. And that's why you're able to see this. Somewhere out there in the distance, really at the edge of your vision, just something burrowing underneath the sands, kicking up dust as it goes. It's not moving fast, like I said. It's not moving fast at all. But you can see this even at this great distance. It doesn't come anywhere. What's that?
Shai Halud.
Yeah, it is kind of like that, a little bit. It definitely is a little bit about that vibe, but not nearly as big. Not nearly as big.
Okay.
Now, who's taking the second watch of the evening? Or are you doing that too, Corin? Blaznir?
Sounds like Blaznir.
Yeah, I can take it.
Okay. I imagine Corin probably points out what he saw, or at least tries to, and then makes his way to his bedroll. Go ahead and roll your perception for your watch.
Guidance to myself. And that's 22.
Very nice. Yeah, with your 22... hold on one second. So with your 22, you're kind of keeping a much closer watch now that Corin had pointed out that whatever it was burrowing underneath the sands. You're watching for it. And at first you're not seeing anything. The sands are quiet. But then you notice it as well. But it's going in a completely different direction than the one Corin described. It actually seems like it's going north to south, as though it's going in a completely different direction and in a different spot than where he had said he's seen it. You watch it for about 10 minutes, and yeah, it's just moving at that slow pace, burrowing through the sand, kicking up dust and gravel as it goes. And then after about 30 or so minutes that you're watching, it disappears again.
Does it look like it's kind of circling us or anything like that? Or is
No.
it just randomly moving?
No, like the first time when Corin saw it, it was in the distance, probably going west to east. This time when you saw it, you're seeing it more to your east, and you saw it going north from the north to the south. But it was pretty far away.
Well, just gonna fiddle with the piece of obsidian, because that's a spell component, and that's cool. And if it ever gets close to me, then I'm gonna do something to it. But if it's gonna stay back, then it's fine.
Well, like I said, it never actually comes anywhere near you, and after about 30 minutes of watching it, it does just disappear. And the rest of your watch goes by fairly uneventful. Now, who's taking the third watch?
I can.
All right, you get bardic inspiration.
Okay, is that D4?
D6.
Okay.
Okay, well, you go ahead and make your perception roll, and you can use that if you... Now, this is... you only have bardic inspiration for 10 minutes, so using it on watch is kind of weird, but I'm going to allow it, so... Yeah, you only have it for 10 minutes.
Still at disadvantage?
No, you're not roll. Yeah, you're still at disadvantage. You are, because you're still got a point of exhaustion.
$19.
19. Okay. You're being as hyper vigilant as you possibly can after hearing about what Corin and what Blaznir had seen. Your watch goes by, for you, very anxiety-ridden, I suppose I could say, because you're just watching, you're looking, you're trying to see what any sign of what the other two saw, but during that time, like you catch sight of a wolf in the distance. You get you see a few bats and things like that, but nothing that really draws your attention to like as a threat. Like and you're jumping each time you hear this. Like every time you see something, you spun around looking, thinking this is something that's about to attack you. But no. It's just a bat flying across the sky. And your watch goes by uneventful. Now who's taking the last watch?
Well, I guess that just leaves me.
Or Willow.
Or Willow. Or both of us.
Well,
I'll go ahead.
And I,
Yeah,
of
you go
course,
ahead.
will relay everything to them about the, what Corin and Blaznir saw and everything.
So go ahead and roll your perception.
18.
Yeah, you've gotten up, you've had your long rest, you're doing your watch for the day. And as you sit there, kind of poking at the fire, nothing comes to your attention. It's actually very quiet. It is during the day. It is actually getting to the point where the sun is starting to go down, but really you're not seeing anything that's like interesting at all, and it's like you kind of sit there dejected a little bit.
I'm just like, sun, go down faster.
I know. I wish it could, couldn't it? But eventually, your group all wakes up for their long rest. So fill up your spell slots, change the spells if you need to, yada yada yada.
The sun did go down into the criminal element.
No, not the criminal element.
So time is weird, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, but eventually you all get up, have a meal, rehydrate, rub down your horses and get them ready, and you wait a couple more hours until the sun's low enough that it'll be cooler for travel. Those of you who had exhaustion points, you lose an exhaustion point with a long rest, so you're good for that. Other than that, yeah, let's see how your day has gone. Go ahead and roll for me a D100.
Sure. 75.
Okay.
All of us or just one?
Just somebody. It didn't matter who. Okay. As you begin traveling, it is much cooler now than it was traveling during the day, to be sure. You actually all have to get out your cloaks and wrap them around you and kind of huddle in them a little bit as you travel. Now, just out of curiosity, what is the marching order of your group?
I'd be fairly close to the front just so I can look around.
I'd be like somewhere in the center.
I'd be in front.
So I guess
with
I'd
my
be like
camel.
second.
Yep, that's true. You did say you were going to change Salvatore into a camel today.
Indeed.
So yeah, it
Well,
looks like a camel.
I guess.
Do I have camel stats? I don't know.
I just looked it up in the compendium. Can he still wear his armor as a camel?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's magical armor.
Okay.
Probably
I'm giving
having
you a
to wrap
camel.
myself up pretty tightly because I'm taller and also no fur, so colder.
Well, there you go. Now you got a controllable camel. So go ahead and just show me on the map here where you guys are, how you all are marching.
Which way's the head? Like down?
Yeah, you're all traveling south, so down.
So like this, I guess. I'm gonna be in second.
Okay, so we'll say Willow's at the back.
Sure.
Sure.
You also don't have to necessarily be in a straight line.
No, you don't at all.
But sand people always ride single file to hide their number.
Yeah, but like, I don't wanna.
Feel like it.
I just like don't feel like it. What's the point of hiding our numbers? I want to be. Sure, why not?
Okay, fair enough.
Celestial camel.
Celestial camel in topaz dragon armor.
Good looking camel.
6 humps.
Thick, yeah, 6 humps, you said.
I'm sure the entire time, Corin, that you're all traveling, Corin is just sitting there whistling My Humps.
Yeah. Anytime that they ask about it, he'll just play it off as him being cold. As tall people have more trouble retaining heat, and also I don't have fur anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be a new experience for you, you know. Being this exposed, dealing with a climate literally none of you have ever been in other than Willow. It's probably a unique experience. But you start heading out, traveling through the sands, heading south towards Rowena. Everybody go ahead and give me an animal handling check and a survival check.
There's my bad.
Willow gets Bardic Inspiration again.
Okay.
I got a 7 on my survival.
And I get Guidance. No, my Perception's
Damn.
not right. My animal handling's the same, so whatever.
Of course, even if I were a rabbit, it'd still probably be miserable, because during the day I'd be even more warm because all the fur.
Yeah, Willow's just having the hardest time keeping up. She rolled a. I'm going to give her the D6 on the animal handling. So she rolled a. Well,
You know what?
no,
I don't actually.
I'm going to
I'm
use
gonna
that
give her
on her
enhanced
survival.
ability.
What's that?
I'm going to give her enhanced ability for Wisdom.
Okay. You would have done this beforehand?
Yeah, because I just now realized I had that spell, and yeah, that'd be a bit better.
So it's just advantage on the roll? Is that what that is?
Advantage on Wisdom rolls.
Okay.
Advantage
So-
on both of them.
Yep, so I'll go ahead and re-roll both of them. Okay.
At least you can
Add-
use the
add
5
that
on the
5.
survival.
And I have a 14.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 15 animal handling for Willow and 14 survival for Willow, which is a success on both. Now, Kaya, what did you roll?
16 animal handling, 23 survival.
Yeah, that's a success. Blaznir?
Right. Sorry, I forgot. 18 on animal handling and 18 on survival.
Okay, that's a success. Corin?
I got a 21 on animal handling and a 19 on survival.
That's a success as well. And Ichabod?
I got a 7 on my survival.
That, unfortunately, is a failure, but overall, a pretty overwhelming success. So, traveling at night has definitely helped you all out. While it is cold, and some of you, Corin in particular, has chattering teeth and has to put on his warm clothing, it's definitely better than traveling during the day. You travel for about 6 hours or so. And Ichabod, you are kind of starting to lag behind a little bit from the rest of the group. You're on a camel, but you're just like getting tired from this ride. For some reason, it just seems to be sapping you a little bit. There's no conditions or anything here. I'm just describing the fact that you rolled so low on your survival check.
Yeah.
Used to mounting around those humps.
Yeah, it's definitely weird having the humps on either side of you, just kind of like bouncing you around a little bit. Ichabod's not used to the humps.
Nope.
Hey man, nothing like being in between a nice set of humps.
I've only had 2 children.
And yet you're still so unexperienced. Weird. But anyway, as you're all making your way traveling, go ahead, somebody give me a perception check with advantage, since you're all kind of keeping an eye out together.
Anybody got higher than a +6?
+9. So, manage and also guidance, because I'm good.
That's a 30.
That's a 30.
Jesus.
So I can see everything.
Yeah, if you could see the curvature of the Earth, you probably could at this point. But
You go
fortunately,
mad from everything you see.
yeah, that's the weird thing about the desert. Since there's nothing here, any light gives good light, and you can see a lot farther than you normally would. Just for the simple fact that the moon is big and at least half full. The stars are all out. There's not a cloud in the sky. And you can see quite far ways away. And which is a good thing because you can see several of those burrowing mounds making their way towards your group.
Hey guys, we got company.
Well, I guess we ought to be hospitable. I draw my sword.
Oh, that's kind of hospitable. I was going to say, I don't know if these, they kind of look like creatures. And
Offer him a nice glass of water. I pull out my whip.
Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out a piece of obsidian, and if they get within 120 feet of the group, then I'm gonna cast a spell at them.
Popping mage armor on myself.
So, this map here isn't even 120 feet out. So,
Yeah.
So, what are you planning to? What spell are you planning here, Blaznir?
I put it into the chat. It's erupting earth.
Okay, let's take a look. You choose a point you can see on the ground within range. A fountain of churn earth and stone erupts in a 20-foot cube centered on a point. Each creature must make a dexterity saving throw, and is basically the ground. Interesting. So like I said, I know you've never seen the movie Tremors, Blaznir. Corin, Ichabod, have you?
He doesn't watch movies.
Parts of it, yeah.
I'm a big fan of the movie Tremors.
So this is exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing that coming towards you. It's not moving very fast. It really isn't. They only seem to be moving about 30 feet per 6 seconds, if you want to break it down meta. But they're definitely not moving very fast under the ground, but they're burrowing towards you, and you can see that all the dust and sand churning up from that. Anesthetic is in chat saying, "Ain't the only one thirsty for that whip." Heart-eyed emoji, LOL. Just kidding, love you, Ichabod. And she says, "I'm done now."
They may be from Tremors, but I'm going to pull out some Jurassic Park. They're flocking this way.
Can I look around and see if there is any rocky ground that we could go stand on?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Sure, I'm great at perception. I don't know. That's a 6.
Yeah,
I've had too many good perception checks.
You are just in the middle of sand. If you look on the map here, there is a little area that looks slightly different. That is a bit more rocky, and
the map is completely black to me.
Huh.
I can see the horses and everybody's tokens, but otherwise it's all black.
I'm seeing through Kaya's eyes.
Seems normal.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, but
Well, that is true. Because here's the thing: is you have been traveling at night. That's a good point. I kind of forgot about that.
Well, I pull out my sword, and it gives me 15 foot bright, 15 foot dim.
But how have you been traveling with the fact that it's been like that? Have you just had your sword out the entire time?
Well, I used to tuck it in my belt and give me light, but also I said a moment ago that I pulled out my sword when they.
No, I know that. I was just curious. We've been describing the fact that you've been traveling, but I forgot the fact that by the way, it's nighttime. So I wasn't accounting for that condition?
Just did the same thing where I take it out of the hilt and tuck it into my belt.
Okay, I was just curious. And Blaznir,
I have a light spell, so dancing lights. I'll just kind of have four little globs of light flying around us as we travel.
Now you have to keep doing this every minute, just so you know.
Yeah. It's a cantrip. I'm fine.
I know. I'm just letting you know what you have to do.
Looks like a little path over there.
So knowing now that is actually a path, I feel like I would have been more on that if that's going to be like an...
So here's what I'm saying. I'm giving you a moment to decide how you're positioned. So you can go ahead and move your position. You're going to be able to prepare a little bit because they are not moving fast, but they are definitely moving towards you. So Blaznir, I know you said you're wanting to cast that one spell of yours. So you can hold on to that and have that ready so that once one of these things show up in 120 feet, you can try to blast it. Okay. What about the rest of you? How are you preparing?
I mage armored myself.
Okay, so you mage armored yourself. Ichabod pulled out his whip and his sword. Willow probably is going to pull out her great sword as well on the back of her warhorse. And we are going to go ahead and take a break. That way we can just devote the rest of the session to this combat. Okay. So we will be back in about 10 minutes, folks. That way we don't have to, because I know we've got 15 minutes till when we normally go on break, but why stop after one round of combat to go on break? So we're going to go on break now. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, and then we're going to jump right into whatever it is that's about to happen. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yes, I could.
Lovely.
Howdy, everybody. We are back. And when we last let things off, the Debauchery Circus had spotted coming up towards them something burrowing in the ground. Who knows what these things could be, but we're about to find out. But as they get closer and closer, Blaznir, you were waiting until the point where one of these mounds, because they're coming at you at all different directions. Looking around, you've spotted at least 3 of them. Couple come from the south, another one from the east. Actually, I'm going to say you also saw one from the west with that really high perception you did. But once one of them gets to the point that it's 120 feet out, you wanted to cast your spell. So I'm going to say that everyone's going to get a surprise round real quick, and then you're going to see where these things are. So go ahead and give me go ahead and Blaznir, do your spell.
All right. So are there any of them that are close together, or are they all separated out?
They're all at least 20 or more feet away from one another. So you're really not going to be able to get more than one with this spell, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. So just target whichever one is closest. Seems to be the leader. If these things have a leader, and I'll cast it at 4th level because that's fun. No, I did not cast that. Okay. And they need whichever one needs to make a dex saving.
So basically, what's happening is all these these big mounds of whatever starting to dig up towards you. Blaznir's watching for the first one that gets close. He's looking at the one that's actually towards the east of you, right over here at the edge of this map. And so he casts that spell. He has to aim a little downward into the sand, but what happens is the sand in that area, basically a fountain of sand, just explodes upward. Let's see what these things do. Well, that is a 16 to save, which is a failure.
Yep.
So, yeah, it just the sand explodes outward, and you see this creature go flying up into the air about just 20 feet upward. Or not even 20 feet upward, probably about more like 7 or 8 feet upward. It's not that high, but it still explodes upward and goes flying through the air. And you see this thing just starts doing one of those cat wobbly legs as it falls and thunk into the ground. I'm going to actually give it a bit more damage than that because it's taking some bludgeoning damage from this fall. Well, an extra 1 point of damage. That was pathetic. But still, 24 points of damage on what you now see on the ground, glittering in the moonlight, off blue scales. A dragon wyrmling.
Ooh.
It's adorable. Darn it.
It's a baby.
Well, you say
baby. I cracked the baby.
You say it's a baby, but this thing is about the size of a tiger. It is long. It is a medium creature. It is big, probably I'd say about the size of a tiger, as it stands up again and just roars. More things are coming, so each of you have had a round, like I said. So that was Blaznir. Ichabod, you had a spell you wanted to cast?
I have a bonus action.
Well,
I have a bonus action.
God, dude. Hurry up.
Alright, I'm going to give Bardic Inspiration to Kaya.
Absolutely, you can do that.
Yep. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's all good. But let's get some music going here. Ichabod, you said you had something you wanted to do. What did you want to do?
I'm going to cast Armor of Agathis on myself and on Salvatore, now a camel, because anything that targets myself, I can make target him too.
Fair enough. I like it.
That's Armor of Agathis. We have some Frosty Shield and 5 temp HP.
Okay. Okay, I like it, yeah. Is that a battle? No, thanks. First time viewer is in chat right now. Auntie, they're asking, what program are you using? We're playing on Roll20 right now. And anyway, that was Ichabod's turn. Corin, did you have something you wanted to do during that time?
Sure, since there's one that's within 120 feet, I can try and chill touch it.
Okay, go for it. Are you doing the same one that Ichabod or Blaznir just used?
Yeah, same one. It's a 22.
22 is definitely going to hit.
10 necrotic.
Okay, you cast your spell, and that spectral hand just comes out from the ground, slashing through this creature, doing 10 points of that necrotic damage. He ain't looking great, that's for sure.
So I'm just sitting there thinking, man, I wish I could ride that dragon.
Subjugate the dragons.
No. Just make it my friend.
Through subjugation.
I should have prepared Charm Monster. We could become friends.
Well, Willow for her time is she's jumping down off of her horse, and she's going to summon her cast-off armor to come flying up onto her. So she's currently wearing that. Auntie is saying, I am DMing first time in a few weeks. Also, me and my party are entirely new to D&D, so this is going to be messy. Yeah, you know what? It always is the first time, but that's half the fun. So I'm sure you're all going to have a blast.
It's always messy no matter how much you've played, and that is definitely the fun part.
That's definitely true. Now, Kaya, did you have anything you wanted to do on your sneak attack round?
Well, I'm just gonna dismount because I feel like I'd be useless on top of a horse. And I'm just gonna ready my quarterstaff, and that'll be it for my first. And then also just for clarification, since it's a sand, is the sand normal terrain or is it difficult terrain or?
So. It is technically difficult terrain. There is some movement restriction if you're going to just be standing in it walking. But you're a monk. That shouldn't matter as much to you.
Okay, so by my count, this guy right here is 55 feet away. Is that accurate, or is that just...
No, that he's actually 120 feet away. I just didn't have a way to represent that on the map on that side.
Okay. Yeah, so with that in mind... Yeah, I don't want to go too terribly far from my teammates. What I might actually do is move over to about here... But I don't want to go too terribly far away, so I'm going to move here, and then I'm going to, like I said, ready my quarterstaff and prepare for battle.
Okay, so why don't we all go ahead and roll for initiative?
Kaya's horse runs off.
We shall deal with that if and when that time comes along. Wow, I am rolling so good today. So good.
I mean, you didn't roll a 1.
Well,
Yeah, but only just. At least it gives these guys a chance to get closer, so I don't have to go too far from you.
Now I got to do all the damn horses.
Wait,
you just
why
put
do
them
the
in one
horses...
initiative.
That's
You don't
all I'm
do-
doing. That's all I was
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And Salvatore technically moves on your turn, Ichabod, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it really shouldn't surprise anyone that Corin got a 31 on his freaking initiative roll?
Yep.
What the hell?
I only rolled a 16, so that's why it's a little low.
God. Anywho.
So just out of curiosity, what would the skill be to attempt to lasso something with a rope?
I imagine
Boy, check.
sleight of hand? Because there isn't like a rope trick skill.
Not anymore.
No, so I'm going to say probably sleight of hand.
That's very interesting and useful. So I'm gonna chill touch the one again.
Okay.
27 to hit for
Yeah,
9.
that's gonna hit.
Cool.
9 more points of damage. Yeah, this creature's looking really not great. He's definitely in pain and is angry.
Dragon. Mommy Dragon's gonna come save all her babies.
That's all for now.
Okay. That's it for Corin. Next up, you can see down far to the south, there's that burrow that was starting to come up, but with the explosion that you all heard, like that explosion of sand that Blaznir did, it shook the entire area. Bursting out from the ground, you do see a dragon wyrmling. Right there, down at the bottom. It is going to move, let's see here. Yeah, as it bursts out of the ground, it just begins flapping. These little wings that aren't like the biggest in the world. They're a bit better than vestigial, but they're not like the greatest. But they are enough to get this thing up off the ground, and it begins flying at an angle up. So it's going to move 60 feet at an angle. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Actually, I'm going to have it move 60 right there, but it's only about 20 feet off the ground. So keep that in mind, Ichabod. It is 20 feet off the ground coming at you.
Pythagoras, why have you forsaken us this day?
Actually, you know what? I forgot about one thing. They're 120 feet away. They move 60. So actually, this one here, you'd be seeing right about there at the 60 feet. So I forgot to take into account that. They're off the map, and I'm moving them onto the map. So that's 60 feet, so that was its movement. I'm going to have to use the rest of its movement. So actually, I'm going to keep it going upwards. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. To right about there, we're actually going to call this 60 feet up. So that's where that one is right there. It had to use its movement and its action to get to this point. It is flying in the air about 60 feet above you, Ichabod, and kind of circling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Clarification, Matt.
Yes.
So that is not the one we attacked already.
That is not the one you attacked already.
Does it look angry at us?
Oh, it's definitely looking hungry.
Okay, that's fair.
I just want a dragon friend.
Same.
Like,
I just want to be able to fly.
I mean, I can already give you that. Come on now.
Let me see it. No, give it to Salvatore, and then I'll ride Salvatore in the air.
Flying camel.
Flying camel.
Another one burst out of the ground about 80 feet away from from the edge of the map there. So it's going to be moving 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. To right there. That one also bursts out of the ground, begins flapping up, flying. It gets to about 120 feet of movement and ends up right here, about 60 feet above the sand. They all rolled the same freaking initiative.
Yikes.
So, yeah, from the southwest, another one has burst out of the ground and is about flying right about here. That one's flying about 50 feet off the ground and managed to get to right there at the end of that turn. So basically, they're all just circling around you, starting to come up at every angle. Easier to describe it like that, but you now have a big flock of these wyrmlings circling around your group. They had to use their full movement to get to these positions, so they did not get to attack you, but they're definitely coming in for another attack here soon.
There's almost enough for us to be able to ride them.
Well, we'll see what happens there. Now, the next turn is the war horses. Willow had gotten down off hers and is standing at the ready. Kaya, you just left yours where it is. You, Blaznir, and Corin, you're riding yours. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, while basically what I'm telling you guys is for this moment, all the horses are seeing these, and they're war horses. They're not exactly afraid of charging things. Now, the one that Kaya abandoned does take a couple steps a little bit away. Willow is holding on to the reins of hers, so I need Willow, Blaznir, and Corin to all three of you make animal handling checks. The DC is really low for this. You're basically just keeping them where they are, so they're not wanting to buck or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Alright, don't blow this for me, buddy. Probably good enough.
Willow with that nat 19.
I got an 11.
You got an 11?
22.
Well, good thing the animal handling check was a 10. You're all fine.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. They're maintaining they're staying right where they are. They're not bucking. They're not doing anything wild. That's all we had to check for that. But Kaya, yours has taken a few steps backward, not afraid, but more preparing itself. Does that make sense? These are war horses. Okay. Blaznir.
Yep.
Your turn.
Hi. Let's see. If I was, I just, yeah, you know what? For my action, I'm gonna summon my little pet Kyan.
Okay.
I'm gonna put him just kind of in the air right there, so he doesn't blow up on anyone.
Now, how high up does he appear?
Let's say how far does he explode? That's my question. Alright, he can be 15 feet up in the air and not hit anything.
Okay, so he's 15 feet up. I'm just keeping track of that in the green circle. All these creatures.
Alright.
Okay, so that was your action.
Yep. Now, bonus action, I'm going to expend my 2 sorcery points and quicken a spell. And that spell is going to be Summon Elemental. So,
You have a gold inlaid vial.
yeah, I bought that while I was in town.
Okay. Auntie is asking, is this campaign official or homebrew? It is homebrew. This is the world of Loroupa, a homebrew world of our own creation. And it's an interesting place. But yeah, definitely homebrewed. They are currently in the Margarden Federation, traveling the deserts of the Juntla Wastes. And they're fighting, a horde of freaking dragon wyrmlings. So what, Blaznir, what elemental are you summoning?
It's going to be an air elemental, so you just kind of see a bit of a dust cloud just start swirling around, and has a little angry face, and it's trying to look fiery, but really can't. And it's just going to be right in front of the dragon's face.
Okay, so I put the elemental spirit on the map for you. You go ahead and move it where you need to.
I already had it on.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Okay, you're good to go.
Yep. And since it can attack without my command, it's going to make its attacks. So that's 2 attacks. Give me a second, because
So let's see.
Maybe spell check modifier.
The elemental makes a number of attacks equal to half the spell level rounded down. So you cast this at what? 4th level?
4th level. So 2 attacks, and so that's 29 to hit.
You
Yep,
said air
definitely
elemental, and all I could imagine was the Tasmanian devil.
10 plus 8. I'm gonna roll both of them.
Wait a
and
minute,
that's
why do you
15 to
get
hit.
a 10?
I took a Corin gave me his little scepter of magic whatever.
What?
War mage. I get a plus 10 for my spell attack
What?
bonus, and
No.
didn't you?
No.
Wand of the War Mage is +1, bud.
Yeah.
Plus
And it's
plus 1.
It's for
And
you.
I had a plus 9, and it's my spell attack modifier. that
Oh,
it's
okay.
using. Yeah.
If you had a
That-
+9, then yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was when I saw it at last. Plus 5, yeah, plus proficiency bonus plus wisdom, which is
Okay,
plus 9
yeah.
and plus 1.
I've got a
Okay.
+9, so that makes sense.
Okay, then yeah, you're good to go. Okay. Then yeah, the 29 definitely does hit. The 15 does not. So your air elemental comes flying up at it, just reaches out with those massive air-like hands and pummels it. Go ahead and roll your damage.
That's 10 damage.
10 points of damage. You, your elemental just cleans this thing's clock, like takes it right in the face, and he it's flying, and like he just kind of shifts to one side and loses maybe about 5 feet before it starts pumping its wings and has to get back to where it was.
And yeah, it's just that's it.
Okay. That's it for Blaznir. Ichabod, you're up next on top of your camel.
Yeah, so everything's about 60 feet up, which is a problem for Ichabod. So, I guess I'll chuck a javelin.
You got a javelin, huh?
Yeah. That's my range abilities, so I am going to chuck a javelin at this fella right here.
Okay. Chuck that javelin.
Okay. That's a 15 on the first one.
15 misses. You throw it as hard as you can, and it just kind of arcs over the creature's head and misses completely.
11. I don't really like the javelins. That's
Nope.
my problem.
The javelins really don't like you either, because you lob that second, you're just kind of like, and it just goes, ew, lands in the sand.
And then, man, I think that's all I'm really gonna do. I'm gonna see if my friends can help me.
Fair enough.
I don't wanna waste any spells.
So Kaya, the reason you had a fist on there is that was from last session, and I just forgot to take it off. I just did.
Okay.
Okay. That's it for Ichabod's turn. Next up, we have the wyrmling that your group has been like pummeling with those 2 spells previously. It is on. Let's see. It was on the ground after being smushed by Blaznir's spell, if I remember correctly. So it's going to have to use half of its movement just to get back up. It begins flying upward at. It can get to about 30 feet up at an angle, and it's probably going to be right here on the edge of the map there when it gets to that point. So it's 30 feet up from the ground. You can see it there. Kaya, it's coming pretty much towards you. And fortunately, you're 30 feet away at a 30-foot angle. Yeah, it opens its mouth, looking directly at you, Kaya, and it unleashes a lightning breath. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please. Oh, it didn't roll. That's annoying.
What do you mean? It says 22.
It's the median.
Or is that the average?
That's the average.
Okay.
No, I didn't have it set to. There you go.
That is a 25 to save.
Okay. So yeah, this arc of lightning comes shooting out from this creature's mouth, coming directly towards you, and you just jump back out of the way as it strikes the ground next to you. Now, for your monk level, do you have evasion yet?
That I do.
So what does that do?
I take no damage.
You take no damage whatsoever. You just nimbly do a flip and land on the ground once again, completely missing, or being missed by this lightning blast. So that's it for that guy's turn. One more of those dragonlings are bursting out from the ground and flying in the direction of your crew. They get to, let's see, 5, 10... Yep. Gets to right about there with its movement and its action. It is flying about 60 feet above your group, but that is the last one of these things that's burst out of the ground and is now currently flying, circling around you. Last in initiative order is Kaya. Poor Kaya. What are you going to do?
So, I have a question.
I have an answer.
Maybe they match.
What is my jump distance? How do I find out my jump distance?
It's equal to your strength score. Like if you're talking about jumping, long jump.
When you
Yeah,
make the
so
long jump,
Basically,
cover
okay,
a number.
basically, here's what I want to...
Hold on. Let me tell you what jumping actually does, and then you can tell me what you're trying to do, okay?
Okay.
So the long jump, so you're trying to make a high jump, is what I'm assuming you're asking. And when you make a high jump, you leap into the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier, minimum of 0 feet. And you can move at least 10 feet on foot, if you can move 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump. When you make a standing high jump, you can make half that distance. So it's 3 plus your strength modifier, which is, I believe, a 5. So you can technically jump 8 feet in the air.
Okay. Well...
That's pretty damn far, too. An 8 foot
Well, yeah.
An 8 foot
But
jump,
how high up is this guy?
30 feet.
So 16 is not high enough.
No.
Because what I was wanting to do is this, and like frickin' just run up there, jump, and start wailing on him if I could reach him.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless you have a spell or something to enhance your jump ability, you can't jump that high.
Are any of them within 16 feet of the ground? I don't think they are, because I think you said this guy was even over 20 feet up.
Oh yeah, all of them are.
Okay, well, I mean, I can't really do a whole hell of a lot then, so...
Do you have ranged weapons or anything like that?
Why would I have ranged weapons?
For situations like this.
For situations
Yeah, for
exactly like this.
Exactly.
I mean... In my defense, I haven't needed ranged weapons yet. So.
Does ninja throwing stars for a monk?
I mean, that would be nice if I actually had some.
Yeah, it really, really would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna hold action.
Okay.
I mean, I can't do anything.
Okay, so what action are you holding?
I'm gonna have my quarterstaff at the ready. And hope one of them lands near me.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, that's
Please
it.
let one land near me.
Please, DM, let me kill them easier. Okay, well, anyway.
100 feet.
Corin, it is your turn. You got a lot of dragons circling around your group right now.
Cool.
What are you doing?
So, Spell Daddy is gonna be Spell Daddy, and he's gonna give out some candy. And I'm gonna cast Fly on Salvatore.
You're gonna
Salvatore! Salvatore!
Okay.
And then,
Why Salvatore?
So I can ride him in the sky.
so she could ride him into the sky and go hit stuff.
King.
Why not? Yeah, okay. So for
Yeah, it's a shame there's nobody else that could do a shit ton of damage if they could get up there.
You're not close by.
Just say you don't like me.
Yeah, I can't touch you. I have to be able to touch them.
Technically, that is true. So, and you are right next to Ichabod. You're both on the horses together, so you could reach out and touch the camel that is Salvatore and cast Fly on it. And God, that's got to be weird for the camel. Like, you know, just kind of.
He's a celestial. I feel like he's fine with this.
I think he's going to be doing that little doggy paddle kick kind of thing a little bit.
But he looks good doing it.
but sure. That's your action, Corin. What else you doing?
I don't think that dragon to the bottom right is close enough for me to shove it, because it says it has to be within 30 feet, and it is, but it's also higher. So I'm assuming that would change things. So I believe that's just going to be my turn.
Yes, that one is 60 feet off the ground.
Yeah. Then yes, that will be my turn.
Okay. That's your turn there. Next up, we have the blue dragon that just got pummeled by an air elemental, and it's not liking that at all. So, yeah, what is it going to do? I feel like they're not very smart. Well, no, they do have an intelligence of 12. They're fairly smart. It's a lot smarter than I thought they would be. Yeah, it's going to go ahead and it opens its mouth and does a line of lightning breath directly in the face of this creature.
That's fine.
Yeah. So give me a dexterity saving throw for the air elemental.
And it also has a resistance to lightning damage. So
Yes, it does.
So 21 for its dexterity check.
Okay, so that's half to 10, which is halved again to 5. So the air elemental only takes 5 points of damage.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad.
It's gonna taunt the dragon, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, how's it gonna taunt the dragon?
It's gonna kind of brush off its shoulder and just smile.
Her shoulder.
It
has a shoulder.
Apparently, the air elemental has a shoulder, but sure, why
It has
not?
Arms. Like
It's
why
been
wouldn't it have a
listening
shoulder?
to
if it has
Jay-Z a lot, brushing that dirt off its shoulders.
Apparently. Well, anyway, I like it. That's it for that blue dragon's turn. Next up, we got the. Yeah, we got. Let's see, this one down here. Let's see, where can it move to? Oh yeah, it can get to you, no problem. It comes swooping down at a downward angle 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to right about there going downward. It is right now only about 10 feet off the ground.
Okay.
Because as it's flying directly towards you, it moved 30 feet to right about there. As it gets to that point, it unleashes its lightning breath. So I need all of you in this line right here, which is Ichabod, the camel, and one of your war horses.
And me, because I'm actually on the horse.
Yeah, and you are actually on the horse, so it would hit you too.
Everybody gets a +4 because you're within 10 feet of me. And this is dexterity?
Yep, so dexterity saving throw. I'll roll for the horse.
Okay.
Oh, the camel gets a -1.
Just made it.
So +3. I can't click the buttons on it.
21?
It's a 19 for me and a 22 for Salvatore. And a 16 for that warhorse.
Hopefully my horse saves.
Yes, it looks like your horse did say it had to make a DC 12. So everything saved even without Ichabod's thing.
Nice.
So that's good. Only takes 5 points of lightning damage.
Or temp HP.
At that point, it kind of makes a bit of a nose dive. So you're actually going to have you have your whip in your hand, correct, Ichabod?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so as it's moving away from you, because it had 40 more feet of movement, so it's going to get right about here at a 30-foot angle. But you do have an attack of opportunity with your whip.
The natty 1.
Ouch.
I'm not used to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you try to reach out and slash at it with that whip, but its tail just kind of shoots back and smacks it away as it's going. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Am I able to use Channel Divinity on an opportunity? It just says when you make an attack roll.
So if it just let me read it real quick.
I'll put it in there. But what I'm looking at is Guided Strike. When you make an attack roll, you can use this feature to gain a +10 bonus. Yeah,
actually, I don't see why not, because it doesn't specify if it's on your turn. It just says whenever you make an attack roll. So I'm going to say,
so
you
then
could
that
use
would be
it.
a 19.
Yeah, then that would actually hit.
So 7 slashing damage, and since I have Sentinel, its speed becomes 0 for the rest of its turn, so it's actually still within range of me.
Okay, so pop up Sentinel for me.
When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, creature speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn.
I like it. So what actually happens is as it's like starting to fly back up, you lash out with that whip, striking it, wrapping it around its wing, just enough that it pulls it down and stops it. Its movement speed becomes 0, so it then drops. And it's going to take another 2 points of damage.
And then is it like in front of me? It's near me?
It's actually going to end up, because it was on the upward turn when it happened. So it your thing has how many feet of reach? 15, so it's going to end up right there on the ground. It's not... it is prone because it fell out of the sky, so it's technically prone and on the ground right there.
Oh, I'm going to wreck this dragon.
So there you go. Nice one. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, funny thing is, that one went down just as its little buddy in the air, that was 50 feet down here, that's its turn next. It's going to be flying in at a downward angle, 5, 10, 15, 20. No, hold on. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 35. Yeah, so it gets to right about there as you're holding your whip out and you're just kind of pulling it back towards you, that's when this other one gets to right about there, and it unleashes its lightning breath. So this is another one that's going in this angle here.
Mhm.
So that's going to be hitting Ichabod Salvatore. God, so this is really weird. Because you know how a horse is big. It's technically like... Yeah, I'm going to have to say it would hit Corin and the Warhorse too, just based on the way you guys are positioned.
Alright.
An 8, and I got a 16.
I got a 13.
Oof. Salvatore's about to be gone. Damn it, with the fly spell!
Yep.
Yeah, with
shit.
the Warhorse got an 18, so it did save.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. Unfortunately, I rolled really freaking high on that damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, who failed?
Salvatore.
Salvatore failed, and he just poof, out of existence.
Unless Corin has a chronal shift he wants to use.
Sure, why not?
That's up to you. I'm not saying you should, but it's the only way possibility of saving
it
the
failed,
fly spell.
so yes, I'll use the chronal shift. So
So-
re-roll your saving throw.
Okay, he's gonna try again. He gets a +3 with my bonus, please. 9 plus 3, that's 12.
That is
just
12. That does save.
He's still alive with barely any hit points.
Okay, yeah, you only took 13 hit points of damage from the lightning strike.
Salvatore.
Okay, so while we're in the middle of this, I need to make 2 saving throws. So this one was
for
for
the
the
con.
first breath, and this one was for the second. So I saved
Okay.
both times.
You did save both
So
times. You're good to go.
the fly spell is still active. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Your horse, Corin, is barely hanging on. It is burnt and singed from these one right after another blasts of lightning.
Yikes.
Fair enough.
Need to mark something down. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see, at that point, that was 40 feet of movement it made. It's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20 at an angle. So it's 10 foot down. It is now 30 feet up. Okay, that is that turn. Gonna wreck you guys with these dragons.
Apparently.
I don't think so.
Don't think so? We're about to find out. I'm going to say that this one's coming after Willow, because Willow hasn't been attacked yet, and I feel like she needs to. So it's going to, let's see, how many feet up?
It's
It's
also
70
not
feet
in the
up.
initiative order.
Oh,
So
Whoops.
she probably had a couple turns.
at least one.
At least one turn.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Well, she would have had to just ready an action anyway. I don't think she has a spell that can work. Nope. We're going to say that on her turn, she cast Booming Blade on herself. I think that's fair. Well, let's see here. You brandish a weapon using the spell it's cast to make a melee attack with it against. Okay, so no, you have to do that at the time.
Yeah, it's part of the whole shebang.
Okay, never mind. I was hoping it was one of those ones that you can do and have held ready to go.
Nah.
Yep. So no, she doesn't have any spells she can really do anything with, and doesn't have a freaking ranged weapon either. So. Like, she doesn't even have a bow.
Wow. And she's a fighter, too. She's got proficiency.
I know. Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, so she's, on her turn, she just held her action. She would have been able to go then. Anyway, the blue dragon's going to come flying down to right about there. And it's doing its lightning breath at Willow and her warhorse.
That's a big damage roll. That's a big old damage roll.
A dexterous horse. It's a dexterous willow.
Dexterous horse and a dexterous willow. Good thing, because that was a huge freaking roll right there.
Imagine like Neo from the Matrix when he's dodging bullets, except it's the horse.
Yeah, only takes 16 points of damage, so that was good. The horse is still alive. Barely.
Horses are going to die here.
Probably.
Gonna have to go on foot now. Well.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think Willow has any reaction spells either. Well, she's got shield, but that doesn't help.
Mm-mm. Even Absorb Elements is only a self-cast, so you can't really cast it on your mount.
No, but she could at least done it for herself. But
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But doesn't, because she doesn't have it. And then it's going to fly back up and get to, let's see, that was 50 feet of movement there. Yeah, so it can get to right about there. And is 20 feet up. That's it for that turn. The war horses are freaking hurt. Yours underneath you, Corin, not looking great. Willow's ain't looking great either. So I'm going to need Willow and Corin and Blaznir to make animal handling checks. Corin and Willow, your DC is a 14 to keep them with you. Blaznir, yours is a 12.
12?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did not succeed.
Neither did Willow.
No one succeeded. Well, I guess I'm not healing the horses this turn.
Well, so what's going on is they are starting to buck and pull. They're getting kind of freaked out by these dragons that are basically bomber rushing your group. The one that was being held by Willow just pulls its reins out of her hand, and it's going to start backing up, trying to get away from this dragon. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
Well,
30
Debauchery
feet to
Circus
right there.
fans, we were about to start the crossover, but the episode before, we had a TPK.
Yep, that's definitely what's about to happen.
By these freaking dragons.
If you get TPK'd by a bunch of dragon wyrmlings, I'm going to laugh. Yeah, I'm going to laugh. This was not a difficult encounter.
I literally have not
Until
lost a
you
single
count
hit point yet.
2 characters.
How have you not lost a single hit point, Ichabod? When
I got hit with the lightning for 5, which was my temp HP.
Ah.
So I'm still at max.
But you got hit twice. You got hit twice.
Yeah, the second time was 13.
You didn't take the 13 from the last one?
There we go.
There we go.
Matt didn't take into account
still
3
fine.
characters with no ranged weapons.
I mean, it's not my fault you guys have no ranged weapons.
I literally do have ranged weapons. I just missed.
Anyway, so Corin and Blaznir, your horses are bucking. I need the both of you to make dexterity saving throws to jump off and get to safety.
Sure. 23.
17.
You're both fine. They're bucking and trying to stomp and bounce around. They do move with you on it, but you do manage to stay on your horse. So this one, the one that's carrying you, Corin, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet to right there. This one here, 5, 10, to right there. That's where the horses have moved.
Yeah.
This one's actually come over closer to you, Kaya, trying to steer clear away from these dragons. Blaznir, you did manage to stay on your horse, which is good, but it's kind of just going off on its own and trying to, get away from these dragons at least a little bit, who are like flying and hovering around your group. What are you doing?
All right. I'm going to pull off 1 to 2 staffs off my back. The healing staff. Just kind of tap it against the horse lightly and cast Mass Cure Wounds.
Mass Cure Wounds. Okay.
Yep. And just gonna put that right there.
Oh, wait a minute. Salvatore is gone now, too, isn't he?
Yes.
Because
I thought
No,
he survived.
we re-rolled.
Oh, because you re-rolled. Never mind.
yeah,
My
we
bad.
re-rolled and he survived.
Never
That's
mind.
why I didn't give it to myself because I was so worried about Salvatore. So I gave him the 13 off.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
If I can. It just gonna go right there. I think that's the right radius. And,
Let's see. You, at 60-foot range, a point of your choice, choose up to 6 creatures within a 30-foot radius sphere. Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna target pretty much everyone that's good in there. So Ichabod in his camel, Corin in his horse, and my elemental spirit.
Do we roll
That's
different
all.
for each person, or you rolling one?
He rolls 1,
I'm-
and then
Okay.
each one gets that.
Okay. Nice. Well,
So
sounds
that's
like
18
that.
healing to all of you. So horses
Sweet.
doing fine now.
Now I have taken no damage.
I'm back up to full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, that's because my
Thanks,
hit points are
Blaznir.
low or small.
See, teamwork,
Yeah.
it makes the dream work.
And my bonus action, I'm gonna command my little red panda, and he's just gonna fly and just hop onto Salvatore.
Okay.
He's on the second hump.
Goes flying up and lands on Salvatore's hump.
And my elemental spirit just moves on its own, so it's gonna make its attacks on the little dragon guy. $14 and a 13. I don't think either of those hit.
Neither hits, unfortunately.
Alright. And that's it.
Okay. That's it for you, Blaznir. Ichabod, you're up next. You're on a flying camel.
Alright, so I would like to holler out and say, Kaya, I done grounded 1 for ya. I'm gonna try to get this other one too. And then I would like to fly on Salvatore up to this feller right here,
How much fly speed do you have?
60 feet.
Let me see here. That guy was 30 feet up, so yeah, you can get right up to him.
Alright, so we're gonna fly up to him. I'm gonna try to hit him with my whip.
Camel up in the
gosh.
sky.
10 on the first one, a 22 on the next.
22 does hit.
And I'm also going to expend a superiority die to do a trip, but it just says that it could knock them prone, so the language. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, what you're
I'm
doing
trying to
is...
whip his wings and wrap it around and make him fall.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So that's an extra 8 damage.
Extra 8 damage, and he's to make a strength saving throw.
Okay, strength saving throw for the dragon. That's a nat 20 for 23. Yeah, unfortunately,
Alright.
not enough.
That does save. I'm still going to take my bonus action with my longsword, because I'm dual wielding. That's a 17 to hit.
17 just hits.
Awesome. So 19 more damage. And I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna expend another superiority die.
Expending another superiority
Yeah,
dice to
make
try
it bad.
to try to tangle up that. That's I guess in this instance you're trying to hack away at the
Yeah.
wing. Yeah.
So it's an additional 1 damage. But if you don't succeed, try again.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a 16.
16 does still succeed.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So you hack away at that wing, you clip it a little bit, but it's not enough to make this thing falter, and it is still up in the air.
Alright. That's fine by me. I end my turn. But Kaya, there is one down there that you can hit.
Thank you. I will definitely get that one. Hopefully.
He doesn't go before you do, so you're good.
Well, let's see. Some of them do.
Yeah, but not that prone one.
No, not that prone one. Let's see. This one does. It is this one's turn, and it's going to come flying up towards you, Kaya. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Flies right overhead. It's about 10 feet up, or let's see. How much of a reach is this? Yeah, it basically dive bombs, goes right over your head and bites down, trying to bite you, Kaya.
Her or the horse?
Her.
Okay.
Her, not the horse. And that's a 19 to hit.
19 just hits.
Okay. 10 points of piercing damage and 4 points of lightning damage as this thing just bites onto your head and kind of pulls a little bit, ripping along your flesh and tearing some nice-sized gouts on either side of your head. It is kind of flying upward at this point, so you do get to make an attack of opportunity on it.
And I will do so. Oh, wait a minute.
What?
I was holding action, too.
You are holding an action?
Yeah. Remember, I had my quarterstaff at the ready.
Okay, then yeah, you could have made that attack at the same time, but a 15 will not hit.
Okay, can I do my second?
So now you can do your reaction for it flying away.
I think 30 hits.
Oh yeah, 30 is definitely going to hit.
No,
For
sorry,
15
it's AC
damage.
is 31.
Oof. So as it's flying away, you just smash out, swinging that quarterstaff one-handed, as high as, well, you say
No,
two-handed. Two-handed, high up. It cracks the side of the thing's head, and it just spins and falls, funks into the sand right about here, but it is dead.
Good.
Yeah, nice one with that.
No, we're supposed to make friends.
I don't think they want
bite
to
me.
make friends.
I want to make friends.
Well,
That's-
animal friendship.
That's it for that one. The next one is flying up towards you, Blaznir. It can move 5, 10, 15, 20 feet to right there. It's also having to fly downward. So
Be friends with that one.
Wait, we can talk about this. Let's just be friends, dude.
I mean, they are intelligent.
So it gets to right about there, and it's hovering
There?
10 feet up in the air, and it looks directly at you, Blaznir, and you and your horse I need dexterity saving throws from as it shoots out a lightning breath.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Big ouchie.
Big,
I use my reaction.
Oh, that's a failure from the horse.
Absorb them,
Oh, my horse is dead.
Red horse.
Yeah, unfortunately, the horse underneath you, Blaznir, takes the full shot of that lightning breath right in the chest. And the thing just crumples underneath you. You fall. Luckily, you only fall about 5 feet, so you don't take any fall damage. But you land in the dirt and or in the sand. You're prone,
Never mind. We cannot be friends.
and your horse is dead. And you took 20. Let's see. You failed. Looks like. Yep, you failed. So that was 25, but you used absorb elements. So you halved that. So 12 points of lightning damage. At that point, it's going to start flying upward. It only has about 10 more feet of movement. So it is remaining right where it is, 20 feet above you.
Kind of safe.
Yeah, go ahead and make that con save as well.
I'm good.
Okay.
Kaya, go. Yeah.
Yep, Kaya, you're up next. What are you doing?
Okay, it's this one right here that's on the ground, correct?
That one is on the ground.
Alright, I'm going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Run up to this guy, and...
He is also prone, so all of your attacks have advantage.
Nice. So...
Anesthetic sending out a healing surge. Honestly, I think the best person to give it to is Willow's horse. Because Willow's horse is the most screwed up out of everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that 3d4 plus 3. So 11 points of healing to Willow's horse. Thank you.
Okay, and then I'm gonna... 2 attacks.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure they both hit.
Oh yeah, they do.
There. And there. So
23 points of damage total with just those 2 strikes.
yeah, so far. Is he still alive?
Oh yeah, he's still alive.
Okay, well then you know what I'm doing. 28 hits. Does a 17 hit?
A 17 just hits.
Okay, and actually give me just 1 second. Let me look at something here. And why not? You know what? On one of those, I am using an additional key point and doing Hand of Harm. So, let's see. How do I do this? Okay, there's a regular damage, and then if this is correct, that would be the Hand of Harm damage. So an additional 2 necrotic.
So I see necrotic up twice. Is that you're doing it for both of them?
Oh, okay. You know what? Never mind. I ignore that 2 because I clicked the little button and it actually did do what it was supposed to do. So it's the 4 and the 8.
Got it. So your 2 for your 2 brass knuckles, you did 12 and 8 with 4 necrotic. Is that right?
Yes. And
so
plus
another 24 points of damage, which is enough to take out this this dragon on the ground. So literally, Kaya just comes running up, smashing down with that quarterstaff twice, then just 1-2 punch in quick succession. And yeah, without issue, you've taken out this dragon wyrmling.
Don't piss off Kaya.
Don't piss off Kaya. Auntie is asking, do we have a Discord and which level are the characters? Everyone here is level 10 right now. And we do have a Discord, but it's mostly just for like cast stuff. Though I sometimes wonder if we should open it up to our fans more. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should we open it up and let people who watch the show hang out with us and chat in Discord?
We might have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd have to give everybody roles so that they couldn't join like voice chat and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I actually have a lot of that set up already because I've been playing with it for a while. I've just never really, jumped on it.
We could discuss it later.
I know. Yeah, it's something chat should speak up as well, whether or not they would want to hang out with us in our Discord while we play. Anyway, top of the order, and it is Corin's turn. So, Corin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna take a look at the dragon nearest to me and just go, I'm getting awfully sick of you. I think it's time that you get awfully sick of me. And I'm gonna cast a chromatic orb at it for poison damage. It's a 28 to hit for 13.
Okay, and which one did you say you're firing at?
This one.
That guy there.
That's one of Corin's better one-liners.
Yeah, and what element were you doing?
Poison.
Poison.
I figured that was the most appropriate for the line.
I like it. Yeah, 13 points of poison damage on the flying dragon that's sitting there trying to really mess around with that air elemental.
And that'll be my turn. I suppose maybe bonus action to try and calm my horse down if that matters, but...
Yeah, you can definitely try. Go ahead and make an animal handling check.
Sure. 10.
10, yeah, he's still frisking and bouncing, like, not to the point that he's trying to buck you off. We're going to see what happens on its turn. But a 10 really isn't enough to make this horse any calmer underneath you. Not with all these dragons flying around. Speaking of which, it is now the wyrmling's turn. I need to roll a d6. Did not get back the lightning breath. So, what's that?
I said good.
Oh, fair enough. So yeah, it's just going to try to bite out at this air elemental. That's a 12 to hit.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. What's its AC?
15.
Nice. So yeah, tries to bite out at the air elemental that's been harrying it, but is unable to do anything. Next off, that one's dead. That one there is the one flying next to Ichabod and the camel. The camel underneath you is holding you up, Ichabod. That's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see what happens with this.
I feel like it probably feels a little more normal to me than it does to the camel.
Probably.
I'm just riding it.
Yeah, big thing flying up at it, little guy on top of it.
Oh, yeah. Come at me, bro.
Yeah,
It's gonna eat that
And a red
camel.
panda.
it's taking a bite at your horse.
Yep.
Sorry.
My horse camel.
That's the camel. That's a 20 to hit.
That hits.
So, 4 points of piercing damage and 5 points of lightning damage to the camel.
Hang on there, buddy.
Hey, at least it didn't have its lightning breath back.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. That's it for that guy's turn. Next off, we have Willow. Let's see. Yeah, he's 20 foot up. Willow's gonna come running over to you. Let's see, 5, 10.
Willow also is not in the right order.
No, she's not. I need to fix that next time. She should be higher up. Remind me at the end of initiative to reorder it. But I'm going to have her come running up next to Blaznir, who she looks like she could give a helping hand to. She's going to be casting Catapult to try to hit that guy. He's only 20 foot up in the air, 10 feet from where they are, so just enough room to actually do this.
She catapulted me at a dragon?
Not you.
No, the corpse of your
I
horse.
don't know, she ran up to me and then cast a catapult? Like, what else
Your
am I
horse
supposed to think?
The corpse of your horse.
Well, so she can grab up an object weighing 1 to 5 pounds within range.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's a rock on the ground, and as she's casting the spell, she grasps onto a rock, launches it at the dragon. So let's see here.
He launches Blaznir's spell component pouch at the dragon.
That's what she should do. Totally.
Oh.
Oh,
I need
my
that.
components.
Looks like I'm not doing anything anymore.
Okay, so it's only a DC 12 Dex save. Let's see whether or not this dragon can beat it.
Ooh, dragon.
That's an 18. So yeah,
Ooh.
unfortunately, the rock goes shooting by. The dragon just arcs to one side, and the rock goes flying past. We got Jedi Slayer 420 in chat right now. He's redeeming disadvantage on Ichabod. The gods are looking down at
Everybody
you in
was
displeasure. Ichabod, the gods are looking at you with displeasure. You did not do enough flagellation last night.
I don't have a private tent in which to flagellate myself. Everybody was looking at me.
Yeah, you should have.
Forgive me, Bowers.
Could
I
have
have
done it
sinned.
anyway.
I know I should have.
Yep,
y'all would have been too turned on by it, and it would have been weird.
Anyway, so Willow's going to be right there. That's her turn. She tried. Can't really do too much. Shit. I just realized I got them in a lot better position than I was expecting. Let's see here. Still can't get these lightning breaths back. Sucks. But it's going to come flying down at Willow and try to take a bite out of her. 19's definitely going to hit. For 16 total damage, 12 piercing, 4 lightning.
Yeah, hey John, I know you haven't shown up to game in a while, but your character died. Sorry.
Sorry.
Definitely didn't mean to.
Okay, we're at the Warhorse's turns now. The Warhorses, there's... The ones that are able to are just backing away from the dragons. That's the smartest thing in the world for them to do. Corin, you are the only one still on a horse. So I need you to make an animal handling check.
Alright.
Your DC is a little bit better, but
11.
not great. Yeah, unfortunately,
No,
that's
that
not
problem.
enough. You did fail. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I rolled a natural 1 for a 6.
Yeah, it just bucks hard, lifting its legs up on the ground and pumping, and you just go flying off. You land on the ground right here and take a total of 5 points of bludgeoning damage as you basically land on a rock.
Alright. I saved, so my spell is still active.
Awesome. That's it for the Warhorse's turn. Blaznir, you're up next.
Yeah, it's my turn. Woo. Man, I still want to make friends. I just don't have a spell for it to make friends with these guys. So upsetting.
I mean, they are intelligent,
They are, like...
but I guess they haven't been saying anything, so...
No.
Intelligent doesn't mean understands your language.
I mean,
They've been roaring a
they're
lot.
dragons.
Yeah, I don't speak Draconic. Closest I'd have would be Primordial, because that's the elemental language.
Yeah. Alright, a small tear is gonna fall down my eye. Ow, my eye, whatever. And, I'm gonna cast Scorching Ray at the third level, we'll say.
Okay,
And,
you're casting Scorching
making
Ray.
my attack. Yep. 2 on the one in front of me, 2 on the one in front of Willow.
So you're upcasting it.
Yeah. I said I was gonna cast it a third.
Nice.
14 misses. 15
Misses.
Also misses.
misses. 22.
22 does hit.
This is the Willow one. Alright. Taking that much damage right there.
13.
13 points of fire damage.
And last hit.
That also hits.
And a 20. Alright. 7.
Yeah. at least 2 of those rays strike the dragon that was that's harrying Willow, doing a little bit of damage to him. Not a lot, but a good amount, I suppose. You do anything else for your turn?
Bonus action. Yeah. Bonus action. I'm gonna give it to Kyan, and he's just gonna kind of shoot a little seed at the dragon in front of him.
Okay.
Is 23, so
Yeah, that does hit.
that's 7 points of fire damage, and then end of turn elemental attacks.
Yeah, little Kyan just riding on the hump behind Ichabod, just kind of coughs a fiery hairball out, and it shoots out and strikes that dragon, and does actually some damage.
Singes Ichabod's hat a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like one of those attacks hit.
Yep. So 16 points of bludgeoning to that dragon.
Yeah, big hit for the air elemental.
And I think that's everything.
That dragon ain't looking great. It's definitely looking upset. The one in front of you, Ichabod, looks a lot worse.
Okay. So it's disadvantage on my next attack.
Yeah, your next attack action. So your 2 attacks are going to be at disadvantage, but after that it goes away.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit, as I do. Hoping to get back into the god's favor. So I'm gonna whip it.
Whip it.
Roll 1.
First one's a 12.
Nope.
Next one's a 14.
Unfortunately, you're trying to whip out twice, but the gods seem to just be holding your whip back as though they don't want you to hit.
I will make it right to you. I promise this. I still have a bonus action, and
You
that
do?
one would not be at disadvantage.
Nope.
So I will attempt. That's a 26.
There you go.
And I'm gonna smite him with a 1st level smite. So let me get the smite on there. Damn. Okay. So it's
Wow.
25 damage.
25 damage. You just
Valorous, I am your vessel. I will do as you say. So I hit him with my sword.
Yeah, screaming out to your god, you just slash with all of your might, and you cut into the dragon's neck. There's an explosion of radiant energy as you strike, and your blade bisects the dragon's head, or its neck, cleanly in half, and the thing just drops to the falls in the sand.
That Valorous does not approve of the beholder whip. He's like, no, that's a sin. Use the one that's named after me. That one works.
That one does work, for sure.
So that one is gone.
It is. You still have your movement.
Continue on. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna fly over to this one over here. That's getting beat by this elemental spirit, and I'm gonna action surge.
Okay.
Welcome.
And this time I'm gonna use my Son of Valorous both times.
Yeah, you might as well. You're
might
doing
as well.
pretty good with it. Go for it.
Maybe not. That's
Maybe
11.
not.
Maybe
And
not.
a 23.
23 does hit.
Okay, let me get rid of that Divine Smite. I'm not gonna do another one. But I'll hit him for 18.
Ouch. 18 points of damage. Yeah, you stab out there with that radiant longsword of yours, cutting into this creature. It is not looking good at all.
I forgot that my camel technically does have an attack. So can he try to bite him?
Why the fuck not? Go
Okay, he
for
only
it.
gets a +5 to hit. So 9 + 5, 14.
Yeah, not enough,
Not
unfortunately.
enough. Worth a try, Salvatore. I know you're not used to this new body, but you'll get there.
I'd have laughed my ass off if the camel killed the dragon.
Amazing. So how high up in the air am I, just for my knowledge?
You are about 60 feet in the air. That you had to use your full movement to get to him.
Okay, so 60 feet in the air.
Well- Yeah.
The only other thing I would like to do on my turn is put away my whip and pull out my shield.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, that's it for Ichabod's turn. Next, we come to the last blue dragon in initiative that's flying there and near Blaznir and Willow. Let's see if it gets its breath weapon back. No! I never get my breath weapon back. Anytime I play this game, I never get my breath weapon back.
Maybe the gods are looking down on you.
Maybe the gods are just looking at you in favor. But it's going to fly right down towards you, Blaznir, and take a bite at you.
No, it wants to be my friend.
That's a 20 to hit.
Yeah, somehow it hits.
Yeah, for 4 piercing and 4 lightning damage. Still not too bad. It is then going to start flying away, so you do have an attack of opportunity if you want to take it.
I do not have a weapon out, so I'm...
You can punch.
I mean, I can.
Well, didn't
You
you
did
have
say you
the
were
staff?
holding your produce flame.
Well,
right?
It
That's
doesn't
a
work
spell,
that way.
actually.
Yeah, you have to use a melee attack. But you were holding your staff, weren't you?
Can I use that as a quarterstaff?
Certainly.
Oh, is that... Can I use dexterity for it? Or is that...
No,
it
it is just strength.
Is that strength?
Yeah.
Okay. So, 5.
Yeah,
Fine.
definitely not going to hit. But valiant effort, and the thing is now flying right about here at 40 feet in the sky.
Be my friend!
Blaznir just calls out ineffectually.
I'll give you food. I can give you good berries. Come on.
Kaya, it is your turn. The dragon in front of you is dead. You got a lot of stuff going on. What are you wanting to do?
Are any of the dragons within 16 feet of the ground?
Nope. One of them's 20 feet.
Do a big jump.
Which one?
That one next to
that
Willow.
one?
Yeah.
Right.
Jump off of the corpse of Blaznir's horse.
Could I? Would I be able to do that? I mean,
How many feet can you jump?
well, I would use my. Oh, what is it that I would be using? Hold
Your
on.
step of the wind.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. I've got too
Yeah.
many things here.
So
Yeah, I'll use my step of the wind, which would double it, which is, yeah, you said 3 plus my strength, which is 5, 9, 16. Unless you want to let me round up
Let's
to the
see.
nearest 0, the nearest 10.
Let's see. When you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet equal to your strength score if you move at least 10 foot immediately before the jump. But that's not a long jump. The high jump is when you make a high jump, you leap from the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier when you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump. Either way, each foot you clear on the jump costs a foot of movement, but in some circumstances, I might let you use an athletics check to jump higher than you normally can. So, here's what you're going to do. Yeah, you can go, if you use Step of the Wind, you can go running up, jump off that horse, and you're going to try to jump up to hit this dragon that's 20 feet above the ground. You can try to do this. You need to make an athletics check for me. And I'm going to say, because the thing's like kind of far away from there, you're going to have to make a athletics check of 18 to do this. It's going to be a hard jump because it is you're literally jumping 20 feet up and over at the same time. So
while I did not mean to roll with advantage, my low number is 24.
It was, yeah. That which definitely beats an 18. So you just, using your Step of the Wind, you run as fast as you can, running up to that horse, step onto the horse, and jump as hard as you can. You got your quarterstaff out with 2 hands. You're coming right up towards the dragon. You got literally a second to make 2 swings.
So she's beating a dead horse?
She's beating off a dead horse.
Like that.
Okay, so I didn't mean to do advantage on that, but I got 28. That hits. The 12, I'm assuming, does not.
12
that's
does
still
not.
15 damage to this
15
thing.
points of damage. Now, you also are falling 20 feet, but you're a monk, so let's see what the fall damage actually would have been.
You have to.
6. So, I don't... That would be 6 points of bludgeoning damage, but you have slow fall. So how much does that reduce it by?
Five times your monk. A
So,
lot.
yeah. 5
lot.
times my monk level.
Then yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
What are we, level 11? What are we?
You're level 10.
Level 10, yeah.
The better
What level are
question
we again?
is, what is she using to slow her fall?
It's just monk physics.
Yeah, it's just monk physics. She go like starfishes for half a second, then does a cannonball flip and lands on the ground.
Yeah, she
Like
did
it-
that karate movie
I
thing.
do-
where she jumped in
I
the
do a
air,
hero
freeze
pose.
frame. Yeah, freeze frame, spin
Superhero
around. She
Oh,
hit
wait a
karate.
minute. Wait a minute. Let me ask something, though.
What?
Oh, no. So this dragon's not in combat with Willow, is it? Because...
No, because it's in the air.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in the air. It flew down, took a bite out of Willow, and then came back up.
Okay. So, and I guess I probably land more like here or here, right? Because I went up, over, attacked, and then
You'd be right there.
right there. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Okay. That's it for Kaya's turn. Ridiculous, but I love it. Fucking monks.
Is it still alive?
Oh, it's still alive. It's still alive, but they're all looking extremely hurt, except for this one who looks totally fine. Corin,
I'm trying to be a friend.
you're up next.
Cool. Chill touch on the one to the south, I guess.
Okay. That one is looking extremely hurt.
14's gonna miss.
14
badly.
is going to miss, unfortunately. You doing anything else on your turn?
Nope, that'll be all.
Okay. Willow's up next. Let's see, what can she do? Yeah, she can cast a catapult again. She'll go ahead and do that. Okay.
Your spell component pouch hits the dragon with a sickening splat.
Yeah, a rock comes flying out of the ground, striking the dragon, actually managing to hit it for 18 points of damage. Pretty damn good.
That was the one in front of her, right?
Yes.
Okay. Has the one that's like over here actually taken any damage?
If only
Don't
you
think it-
listened when I described things.
No, it's full.
Well,
up.
you said it's looking pretty well, but that doesn't, I didn't know if it actually got hit yet.
She's going to come moving up this way, 5, 10, 15 feet to right there. She's out of that dragon's range, fortunately. Okay. That's it for Willow's turn. At least she hit. Next off is the dragon that is in front of Ichabod, who's looking really freaking hurt. And still can't get back that breath weapon.
Got asthma.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. I'm gonna bite at the camel then, because fuck the camel.
I'm a camel.
Because the camel's supporting you, and it's intelligent.
And it's big and juicy.
Yeah,
That's an 18 to hit.
that do hit.
Wants some of that
6
pump.
more points of damage, 4 piercing, 2 lightning.
That's exactly enough to drop my
Okay.
camel.
Okay, so biting into that camel, the camel just disappears, and it's this weird visual because like Ichabod and Corin are sitting on the camel. Ichabod between the humps.
God and
the
spirit.
The spirit
Not
thing. Yeah, not Corin. What is it? Kynan, that's it. So Kynan is sitting on the hump. There's the armor, then there's the camel. So when the dragon bites the camel in the neck, the thing just poofs out of existence. Then that armor goes flying into the little amulet thing that you have that
Scale.
keeps it in the scale that keeps it. It just goes sucking into there in next second. Then both you and the fire spirit look at each other, look down, and you go plummeting.
Doesn't Kyan fly?
Fly though.
I mean, he flies when it's
Kyan.
his turn, and he's able to, but he doesn't have a
but he has
reaction.
hover speed.
But you said he was sitting on the thing, so he was not hovering.
I guess. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. 60 feet is what the two of you fall. So each of you take 6d6 damage. And then you just hear the dragon chuckling in Draconic.
Laughs in another language. Nice.
Yeah, 17 points of damage to Ichabod and 16 to Kynan. And the both of you are now prone. If Kynan's still alive.
Oh yeah, he has 40 HP. Like
He's a tough
He's
little
fine.
pepper.
Little guy.
Fair enough.
I don't know where to put his HP.
Seeing as now the dragon is still 60 feet up and flying, and he has his.
I do have a question. Can I
Yes.
interject here for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
So, with Sentinel, when a creature takes an attack to a creature that's within 5 feet of me, other than me, I can use my reaction to make a melee weapon attack. So, can I hit him with my whip as I fall?
Yes, absolutely. As you're
Or my sword, actually. That's what I have.
Well, as you're flying backwards, you have the sword in hand. You're just like swing.
I'll try.
Yeah, I like it.
17.
17 exactly hits.
Yes. 14.
Wow. So, as you're falling, you
you,
swing
Sentinel.
out with your sword, somehow managing to cut into the belly of this creature. He had 5 hit points left. I thought I thought that one was about to escape, and instead it drops right down next to you. You land on your back with a thud, just as the corpse of this thing lands right next to you.
That's right. Beast.
You're covered in goo as the corpse explodes.
I start praying.
By the way, Kyan is immune to prone. So.
Okay, well at least he's on the ground.
Yep.
Sure, why not, Jedi Slayer? Jedi Slayer 420 gave the next dragon advantage for rolling the dragon's breath. I'm gonna allow it. Why the hell not? That's funny.
I'm so glad I remembered that with Sentinel. I was like, I feel like I should do something.
Okay, so, this next dragon's turn is the one that's over here fighting with Kaya, or is flying above Kaya anyway. Let's see, I'm gonna roll 2d6 and take the higher number. God! A 3 and a 4.
Still no.
Even with advantage, I can't get my breath weapon back. But you know what? It's 20 feet in the air. It's looking down after just getting pummeled by this monk. And it's going to go, you know what? I'm good to go. And it's going to turn and fly away. Using its action and its movement to do so. So it can get 120 feet away. Which is more than enough to get it off this map. But that's the way it flew.
Attacked by mommy dragon.
What's that?
So you guys, I said tomorrow we're gonna get attacked by a mommy dragon.
Yep, totally.
Maybe.
It's over for us.
Mommy, these guys attacked me.
They killed all my brothers and sisters. I would like to speak to these dragon wyrmlings' mother, though.
Or maybe
But I can really, I just want to give her a piece of my mind.
Yeah, no, she's setting such a bad example for her kids,
Yeah.
honestly.
This is
Yep.
how your kids act?
It is the warhorse's turn. The one that just knocked you on your ass, Corin, is now going to be moving away 5, 10, 15, 20 feet to right about there. The rest of them are also backing away. They're just trying to steer clear of, everything.
one dragon that's left.
Yeah, just they're backing away from the one dragon that's left.
Fair.
Blaznir, it is your turn.
Yeah. Alright, seeing as the other one ran away, I'm gonna assume this one might be following suit, so, I'm gonna just kinda pull out some mistletoe from my pocket as a last-ditch effort to, try to befriend this dragon. I'm gonna cast Goodberry in my hand and just kinda hold it out. Try to, here, you can have some food.
I know I killed all your friends, but here's a berry.
Yeah. Go ahead and make an animal handling check, Blaznir.
As the dragon bites your hand off, because it's intelligent.
It's fine, it's fine. Ah. 11.
Okay.
Should have bardically inspired yourself.
Yeah.
I can't do that to myself.
Well, so that was your action. Do you have anything else you're wanting? Well, action and bonus action, I'm going to say. So you still have movement.
I don't. Do I have anything as... I don't want to move. No,
Don't
that's
forget
it.
about your spirit.
Yeah, you do still have your spirit animal that's landed on all 4 of its feet somehow in the sand.
Can I, teleport, Ichabod onto his feet?
Ooh.
With fiery teleportation?
Yeah, I'm going to say no because
How
it's
far
just
can you
teleporting you.
teleport it?
Yeah, it's teleporting you to whatever position you're currently in. Like, you can't go from a sitting position to a standing position with a teleport.
Okay.
But you could teleport him closer to you.
Don't you
I'm gonna make this
want me to
like
be
that.
close to you? Let
Good question.
me come give you a big hug.
You're gonna kill my friend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about it?
Now Kyan is just gonna use the dodge action. Actually, I have the bonus action command him, so I can't. No. So
If you
I
don't
can't even,
command him, he uses dodge, right?
Yeah, well,
You
I
just
have to
use-
use my bonus action to
Yeah,
command
so-
him, and instead I use my action bonus action. So
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm saying his default action is to dodge, right? So
Yeah,
even if
he's
you don't
dodging.
command him, that's what he does. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
and my elemental spirit will do the same.
What's the elemental spirit
dodge.
doing? Just dodge.
Just dodging.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not giving them any commands.
Okay. Then Ichabod, it is your turn. You are prone on your back in the sand.
I'd like to stand up. Of course, brush myself off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Salvatore. I'm gonna attempt a command of my own. And I'm gonna attempt to command that one that is left. I'm gonna say grovel, because then he will fall prone and end his turn on his next turn if this succeeds.
How far of a range do you have?
So it's 60 feet. How high up is he?
He is 40 feet up, and
So-
he is now 30 feet away from you.
Pythagoras, be on my side.
He's going
Yeah,
to
that
space
you're good.
forever.
He is just within range. You're good.
I might as well give it a go because I'm assuming he might try to fly away on the next one. So I say grovel, and he needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw.
He's going to eat the berries out of my hand, and he's going to be my friend.
And then he's going to grovel.
That's a 6, which is a
That
failure.
failed.
So you told him to grovel, and so he just swoops. Well, does he have to do it on his turn?
Yeah, on his turn, he falls prone and then ends his turn.
As long as Kaya doesn't go over and kill this thing, then...
Okay.
He ain't going to do jack squat. But we're all going to get around on him, prone on the ground.
So I'm going to act... So, okay. That's what you did. You cast your spell, and it did take effect. But here's the thing. The spell has no effect if your command is directly harmful to him.
The given commands. The target falls prone and ends its turn.
Yeah, like...
Which is directly...
Kill yourself.
But it is directly harmful for him to do so.
That's indirectly harmful. Directly harmful would be you cut yourself, or you jump off a cliff, or, this is indirectly harmful to him.
But not only that,
It's
you're not
one of
telling
the-
it.
Yeah.
You're also not telling it just to drop. It could, you say grovel.
Well,
it could just fly down on its own,
Yeah.
and
Which actually
kneel down
is
and grovel.
which is what I was trying to decide what it would do. So, realistically speaking, the only way for it to not take damage is to
You
do
fly
exactly
down,
that,
then
yes.
lay down prone. I'm
Yes.
fine with that.
Yes, and
Or
that's exactly
failing.
what it would do.
Okay.
Failing that, it might not even understand you because you're not speaking in Draconic.
Whose side are you on?
It
How
says
dare
it
you.
doesn't
Nope.
understand
I
you.
know, but is that...
Well,
What's
well, unfortunately, he did bring up a good point, which was the next thing I was going to bring up, because it only has one language on there, which is Draconic.
Wish I spoke it.
So, unfortunately, no.
Let me look at my thing real quick, just to make sure.
It does not understand the command, so it is unable to comply.
Okay.
Sorry, that is part of it. But that is your turn, and the blue dragon's turn is up next. Let's see if I actually get his breath weapon you back. Nope. Nope, I have not gotten a breath weapon back this entire game, but you know what? It is 6:12, so it's really better if we end this battle right here anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and say that, yeah, because the spell was not able to be understood and could not have affected it, he is going to use his full action and movement to fly away.
My 11 doesn't succeed.
Nope, your 11 definitely did not succeed. And it's
Lame.
also the end of the session, so it's a good time to end things off anyway. So we're going to end things with that last dragon. Unfortunately, the spell not working, and it flies away. But still, overall, you got 4 dragon corpses around you.
I can revivify one.
And that's it. One of your horses lies dead. I don't know if you have the ability to resurrect it, to revivify it, Blaznir.
I do. I have 1,200 gold pieces worth of diamonds.
Then yeah, if you're good, if
Why,
you're willing
though?
to use them, you can right now, real quick, before we end the session. As the dragon
honestly
flies away.
The horse is not worth 300 gold pieces. Like,
I mean,
I can turn into a horse and ride walk
Or
alongside
camel.
everyone. So and
Or camel.
well, I mean that's.
Yeah, no,
I'll let you decide by next session, because I mean you do still have a couple days worth of traveling to get to Rowena, and being down 2 horses right now might make things a bit more challenging. So that's something to
are
consider.
we down too?
Technically, yeah.
Salvatore.
Salvatore.
Oh,
But I'll let you.
Ichabod.
I'm going to let y'all discuss it, and we'll decide by next week. But thank you to everyone who watched this evening. I hope you enjoyed our dragon wyrmling battle. These things are infested into the Gentler Waste. They're all over the place, so you see them quite a bit when you travel in the desert. But I hope you all had some fun fighting them. So,
Thanks to the new viewers for watching.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for hanging out with us. We very much appreciate you spending time with us. We hope you come back next week at 3 o'clock when we find out how the Debauchery Circus managed to make it to Rowena, being stuck in the desert as they are. So, on behalf of everyone here in the Debauchery Circus, I just want to say once again, thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next week. Good night.